Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Will Ginsberg, president of the Community Foundation, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here this afternoon for an important announcement and to kick off our program. I don't usually do this, but I'll start with a quick apology related to COVID-19. First, that the foundation can't accommodate you in our lovely building behind me because the building is closed. And second, for my hair, which is suffering from COVID-19 like the rest of us. As the governor pointed out a moment ago, he opened the barbershops and the salons a few weeks ago, so I can't blame the governor for this, but in any event. So we are delighted you're here. We're honored to welcome Governor Lamont, Lieutenant Governor Bysewicz, Mayor Elicker. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to our partners, to Lindy Gold, leading citizen of New Haven and of Connecticut, and president of the Amour Propre Fund, which is one of the supporters of this program. Thank you to HEDCO for being here and for taking on the role of program administrator. And Fernando Rosa is here and Kim Hawkins, and we'll hear from Kim. Others I want to thank at the outset here from the city of New Haven, who are partners in this and great partners, Mike Piscatelli, Kathy Graves, who we're going to hear from, and thank you to the Board of Alders for their support. Alder Furlow is here. And last but certainly not least, thank you to the Community Foundation Board for their support. Kalila Brown-Dean, our board chair, is here, and Nick Norcott, our board vice chair, is here, and to our staff, led on this venture by Drew Alden as well. So many people to thank because there are many partners. Today we are announcing the Partnership Loan Program for minority-owned and women-owned small businesses in New Haven and in the towns of Derby and Ansonia in the lower Naugatuck Valley. These are truly for small businesses. These loans, these will be loans of up to $25,000. We have assembled through the funding partners a pool of $1.5 million. Eligible businesses will be those with 20 or fewer employees. So we're talking about truly small businesses. You remember the federal Paycheck Protection Program run by the SBA was for small businesses of 500 or fewer employees. This is for small businesses in our communities, in our neighborhoods of 20 or fewer employees. We're reaching out into the neighborhoods. These are the businesses that are the heart and soul of our neighborhoods here in New Haven and in Derby and in Ansonia. They are, in that sense, the lifeline of community life in our community. They are the community in so many ways. And so many of them have been deeply threatened by COVID-19. And as I said, so many of them have been bypassed by the support that's come from Washington. So the partners felt that this was a really important and necessary group to reach out to and support here in this time. For the Community Foundation, the support of entrepreneurs, small business people, and in particular building a ecosystem of support that is inclusive for minority and women-owned businesses is one of the fundamental planks of our new strategic plan moving forward that our board, led by Kalila and Nick, adopted 6 months ago. This is one of the key planks in how we intend over the next 5 years to build a community, to help build a community in Greater New Haven that provides opportunity for all. That's the name of our new strategic plan. And these issues, as I said, have only become more important in the age of COVID-19. So that's why this program is such a priority from our perspective and is so important from our perspective, and why we're so grateful to our partners, who you're going to hear from now, who have joined us in this. So we have a group of speakers. I'm not going to introduce each one. We'll start with Mayor Justin Elicker from the city of New Haven, then Kathy Graves. Kathy Graves from the city staff, followed by Kim Hawkins from HEDCO, Lindy Gold from the Amour Propre Fund, as I said, who will introduce Lieutenant Governor Bysewicz and Governor Lamont. So, without further ado, thank you again, Mayor Elicker.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's nice to see Will reliving his 60s youthful time. I'm so happy to be here to talk about this partnership. And it's a partnership that spans so many different groups and frankly has been in the working for quite some time. The Community Foundation, HEDCO, Lindy Lee, our partners on the Board of Alders. The city's portion of this funding comes from the CARES funding from the federal government and the state. And because we've all recognized, all these different groups, what COVID has highlighted, which is the severe inequities that are experienced in particular by the Black and brown communities in New Haven, in the region, and around the nation. And that is underscored even more by the incredible change in the dialogue nationally around something that many folks have known for a very long time, but now the entire nation is waking up to. And this is just one small part of the work that we need to do to address those inequities, whether it's COVID and the health impacts that have clearly hit the Black and brown communities much more significantly than other communities, whether it's the economic impacts that have hurt in particular Black and brown businesses that haven't had as much access to the funding coming from the federal government. And our partnership here and so many organizations stepping up and saying it is time that we invest in particular in those Black and brown and women-owned businesses. That's an indication of the work that we need to do, but also the acknowledgement of just how important this work is to do. So I'm very grateful for the partnership of the governor, the lieutenant governor, our state colleagues, the Community Foundation, HEDCO, my friend Lindy Lee Gold, citizen extraordinaire, and the Board of Alders for your support. I'm going to turn it over to Kathy Graves, who knows way more details than I do about how this whole thing's structured. So thank you, Kathy, and also everyone from our Economic Development Department who put a ton of work into this. So Kathy Graves.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Elicker. Thank you and good afternoon. Governor Lamont, Lieutenant Governor Bicewicz, State Rep Tony Walker, Mayor Elicker, Alders, Will Ginsburg, and Andrew Alden, whose commitment, support, and his let's do it attitude contributed to the success of this project, to the Amoy Proffer Fund, and to HEDCO, who never questioned why we need it. Thank you. This is a historic collaboration. We have confirmed there is a need, that there is demand for this type of collaboration. We believe this is a precedent that all cities should believe and want to set part of their larger strategy to address deep-rooted economic disparity and the disproportionate negative impact COVID-19 is having in our urban communities, on its urban centers, on its business owners of color. New Haven's strong ecosystem and spirited innovation is a model for the state. We see a city, an economic development service, a community, and a private foundation partnership as groundbreaking, precedent-setting, and forward-thinking. Partnering together and sending a powerful, undeniable, unequivocal message that we are open for business and together committed to ensuring that our urban small businesses will survive. We have ourselves a revolving loan fund. We have a fund that will self-perpetuate because these are loans and not grants. Every dollar our partners commit is leveraged 3 times and then it's recycled over and over again for the life of the fund. This partnership makes sense. Local municipalities and the foundations that support them know their small businesses best in the communities they serve, and this collaboration creates a powerful team that can confront the deep challenges our urban entrepreneurs and small business owners are facing during these historic times. We hope this kind of collaboration is seen as an innovative model, a model worthy of encouragement and sets precedent, that it inspires other municipalities and foundations to seek to replicate. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone. And again, my name is Kim Hawkins. I'm the Vice President and COO of HEDCO. And we are excited about this opportunity. We want to say thank you to all of the partners who are here, because it gives us another opportunity to be able to work with small businesses, to help develop small businesses, and we understand what the struggle is for small businesses. So as we go forward in this partnership, looking to build businesses, to create legacy for our small businesses, which we don't talk a lot about, to be able to meet them at the point where they are challenged and to provide them with the resources to support them and to grow them and to build them. We're excited about this opportunity. We at HEDCO have done this for the last 45 years, and we look forward to building on this relationship and continuing to grow small businesses throughout the state of Connecticut. So with that being said, I'll give you a little bit of the information that's attributed to what this program is going to look like. So this program is, as it's been said, for minority businesses that are going to employ 20 or less employees. It's a maximum of $25,000. It's a 4% loan program, which allows them to be able to use these dollars for working capital, purchase inventory, equipment, whatever their need might be. We're there to look and see how we might be able to support them through these dollars. We know that COVID-19 has really wreaked havoc over our businesses, and this is a small way for us to be able to bring resources to them, to be able to provide them with the opportunity to sustain their employees, to sustain their businesses, and to hopefully come out of this COVID-19 pandemic more healthier than they were when they went in. So the program, again, is for those businesses that are located in the city of New Haven and Lower Naugatuck Valley. You must be in good standing with the Department of Revenue Services. And what that simply means is that's a way for us to be able to know that you've paid your taxes. If you have an issue with the Department of Revenue Services, we will work with you to make sure that those issues are addressed so that we can then be able to still allow you to participate in this loan program. So the goal is to work with you, to build you up, to find out where your challenges are, and then to be able to help meet those challenges so that you can be successful in being able to participate in this program. We don't want to turn anyone away. We want to be able to say that you were able to come in, get the services that you needed, and then see the success that was garnered from the participation in this program. It's a 12-month interest only. On the 13th month, it will be converted into a principal and interest payment, which means that we're going to allow them to have the working capital that they need and not be taxed with paying back this loan immediately. Because again, we know that the small businesses need that working capital. They need that ability to get back on their feet and to shore themselves up and to understand exactly where they're going to be going and how they'll be moving within that time frame. And so we'll work with them very closely with the city and other resources to be able to make sure that they understand what those needs are going to be and then how they go about addressing those needs and providing these funds to support those needs. Let's see. There is a one-page application. The application will be found on our website. Our website is www.hedcoinc.com. And when you go to our website, you'll see the drop-down for this particular program. The application is there and all of the documentation that's going to be necessary to be a participant in this program. We're excited about this opportunity. We're excited about the challenges that are ahead of us in terms of being able to support these businesses, because we know that we can build these businesses, make sure that they're successful, and again, be able to see them grow, sustain themselves, and continue to build the communities in which they reside. So we thank you again for this opportunity. I will say that the president of HEDCO is here with us, Fernando Rosa, and so we're excited about this. We have rolled up our sleeves, we're ready to go to work, and so now what we need to do is get this out so that we can have businesses participating in this particular program. So again, I say thank you to all, and we look forward to working with the small businesses here.
Just to set the record straight, it's a more prop, translation, self-esteem, and it's part of the inspiration that on which Drew Alden was able to put together this really great partnership. The pandemic has seen the American dream interrupted. It is predicted that up to 40% of minority and women-owned businesses will not survive the losses. Several factors explain the high rate of closures. Perhaps most important, many lack access to bank credit, making it harder to survive these financial emergencies. Many are micro-enterprises, providing a livelihood to a sole proprietor with a few employees at most. Profit margins are thin, while owners' financial savings are often meager, making them vulnerable to sudden downturns. Many are ineligible for the financial assistance programs offered to the more privileged. An analysis by the Center for Responsible Lending found that 95% of black-owned businesses were shut out of the small business initiatives offered by the SBA. The situation highlights institutionalized racism and sexism in our country. We, our group, is blessed to be in a position to walk the talk and promote true equity and inclusion to these small business owners. It is important to contribute more than just polite dialogue, if you are able. I'd just like to quote Darren Walker, president of the Ford Foundation, who said, "I still believe in the American idea and in the values to which we have always aspired. If we are to keep the American dream alive, our democratic values flourishing, and our market system strong, then we must redesign and rebuild the engine that drives them. The old playbook, giving back through philanthropy as a way of ameliorating the effects of inequality, cannot heal what ails our nation. Instead, those of us with power and privilege must grapple with a more profound question. What are we willing to give up? This is a start, and I hope more join us. Thanks so much for being here."
Good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure to join all of you to celebrate this much-needed low-interest and partially forgivable loan program for minority-owned and women-owned businesses in New Haven and in the Valley. This couldn't have come at a more critical time. What we've seen with the PPP programs and some of the SBA programs and even some of our state programs is the demand is huge, and the businesses that were able to work with their bankers, their accountants, their lawyers, were the ones that got the big loans and got the loans the quickest. And left behind were the smallest of businesses who maybe didn't have all of their expenses in QuickBooks or their last tax return or even a relationship with a bank or a financial institution to help them. And so that's why I want to thank the New Haven Foundation, HEDCO, the City of New Haven, the Mayor, the Board of Alders, Cindy Graves, and Lee Gold, who is a fierce advocate. She is the fiercest advocate for small businesses, particularly women-owned businesses and businesses of color that I know. And this is what she does for us at DECD. And in her spare time, she's thinking about ways to help her own community. Now, I just wanted to say a few words about why it's so critical to help women-owned businesses. Women are 50% of the population in the workforce, but sadly, so many women-owned businesses and women workers have been left behind in COVID. 60% of the unemployed people who lost their jobs because of COVID are women. And we have a huge pay gap. White women are still earning 82 cents on every dollar that a white man makes. Black women, 65 cents. Latina women 58 cents. And there is a similar disparity for women entrepreneurs. So we have so much to do to build our women-owned, minority-owned, and small business community. And I want to thank everyone who is a part of this brilliant project for getting these resources together to help these very vibrant businesses. Thank you so much, and it is my great pleasure to introduce our great governor, Ned Lamont.
Well, thank you, Susan, and Justin, it's great to be back, and Richard, and Tony, back. We keep coming back, I told you. And Professor Ginsburg, you look like Einstein's younger brother. I just wanted to briefly give you a COVID update because it's interesting. We did almost 6,000 tests yesterday. Again, 1% positivity, which puts us in a very good standing compared to just about any state in the country. Just a little disturbing is the fact that our hospitalizations went up by 16. And let me tell you why I say just a little, because I'm paid to worry. And I would worry if I saw our admissions in our hospitals going up. And that's why you saw hospitalizations going up. That's not what happened. We've added about between 20 and 30 new COVID cases a day into our hospitals. That's consistent. That's been consistent for the last few weeks. What has happened is there are very many fewer discharges. So it's not something I worry about, but it's something I note to you. On a very positive note, for the first time in months, there were 0 COVID-related fatalities in Connecticut. 0 COVID-related fatalities. And as I've said, Susan and I have said wherever we go, that's really thanks to each and every one of you. You're wearing the mask, you take the protocol seriously, and it makes a difference. We got the numbers, as Susan was mentioning, on the PPP loans. At least a little more detail came out. As you know, Connecticut was in the top 10, nationwide in terms of, per capita loans. That was thanks to Hedco and David Lehman and Glendolyn and our incredible team. They do like me to point out that there's still over $100 billion. So talk to this team and keep going, because there's an opportunity to help out your business as well. I will tell you, Mayor Elicker, that New Haven came in third in terms of under 169 towns. Not bad. Stamford, Norwalk, New Haven, in that order. And that's a big deal. Let me just say broadly, I mean, Connecticut, you've seen these lists. Everybody always hits us with them. Connecticut's at the bottom of this list or that list. No longer. We're at the top of this list. And we did really well. And I think, as Liddy said, it's just, I come out of small business too. And you know what happens when the economy takes a hit. And this wasn't just a hit. This was a COVID-related shutdown. And what that did to small businesses. The PPP loans, of which we got well over $6 billion, made a difference in allowing small businesses to keep their employees. I think, as Susan pointed out, a lot of big businesses seem to play in this game as well. But we're focused on what we did with the small businesses. Connecticut made a special effort in terms of bridge loans and business and loans for our smallest businesses, in particular, women and minority-owned businesses. I think you'll find that about 38% of all the Connecticut-related loans went to minority-owned businesses, doing everything we can to help them, help them keep going in this incredibly tough time. And there's nothing more important to our state to get it going again than to give people confidence, give small business confidence that we can power through this. And I think every day we're making a difference. But what these loans mean, what Hedco does by reaching out to the community, working with economic development here in New Haven, working on a regional basis, Mayor, is letting small business know this is a place you want to be. And we're going to get out of this recession. We're going to get out of this COVID-related recession. We're going to do it working with our small businesses. And, we tried to take turn lemons into lemonade. I mean, we took every single one of those unemployment claims and we attached to it an opportunity to get a free online certificate. So maybe you've been a bartender for the last 10 years and you're waiting for your bar to open again. In the meantime, you can get a laser welding certificate and find a different job for yourself. We did our virtual job fair, which Tony and I were talking about just the other day, and hundreds of new people got employed. But most importantly, we're here to champion this partnership, champion what you've been able to do, Will, working with HEDCO, working with New Haven, and what this means for small business, what this means for opportunity, what this means for people of color and women-owned businesses. This is your time. We're going to make sure we don't lose it. Thank you, everybody.
Again, thank you all for coming. If there are questions, I think the speakers would be happy to answer them.
Yes, perhaps for Jim Hawkins or anybody else who wants to jump in, but the Lieutenant Governor outlined some of the obstacles. Is that really the summary of why it is that this program is necessary? If you can speak to those specifically.
The obstacles are of small businesses in this sense.
Yeah, why is this necessary? Why did these companies, were they unable to utilize the federal stimulus?
Yes, they were. So this program is important because of just that fact. We have several small businesses who we are working with who were not able to access the PPP. And as the Lieutenant Governor stated, it may be because they don't have the same sort of support systems behind them, i.e. attorneys, accountants, things of that nature who are pulling their numbers together. And so a part of this program is going to be able to help them to understand the importance of having those documents ready, understanding the importance of being able to have an accountant or an attorney online on hand so that if you need to be able to apply for additional funds coming down the pipe at some point, they're ready to do that. But yes, that's been part of the challenge of small businesses. They're busy doing the business, and so sometimes they don't have the resources to be able to have those other components available for them to do.
Does anyone have a sense of the larger need? I mean, this is, as you all say, this is a relatively small program, $1.5 million. So what is it, can anybody describe what is the unmet need out there for these small businesses?
Well, I'll just say, Mark, that when HEDCO first administered the bridge loan program, and in particular several $1 million that the state of Connecticut gave for the smallest and for women-owned businesses in urban areas, there were 5,000 applications within a day or two. And HEDCO and the state didn't have the resources to keep that going. So what New Haven is doing is critical. And I'll also say that my hometown, the city of Middletown, had the city council allocate $250,000 to small businesses. So some cities and towns are doing this. This program is unique because of the nature of so many government and non-governmental entities that got together to do it, but the need is huge, and I know this because I've been doing teletown halls with our Department of Economic and Community Development and legislators, and we hear the frustrations of small business owners who they didn't have their 2019 tax return to file, or they didn't even have a relationship with one bank that they could go to help them through. So what HEDCO is going to do is give people that technical assistance to get them through the process, because that's a challenge in itself. And I'll let anybody else jump in.
Well, the only other thing I wanted to add to what the Lieutenant Governor said in response to your question was, yes, in the vast scheme of an economy, a national economy, and all the economic damage we've seen through COVID-19, $1.5 million is a small number. There's no question. I wouldn't argue that. But what I would say is if these loans average, say, $20,000 apiece, we're talking about 75 small businesses in neighborhoods in New Haven and Derby and Ansonia, each of which employs a dozen, 15, up to 20 people, each of which has families who depend on it. So while in the vast scheme of things, it's a small number perhaps, in terms of the life of this community and the neighborhoods in our community and in our region, we think it can make a big difference.
Is there a ceiling on the size of the loan?
25,000.
Thank you. What's the length of the loan? The term?
The term is for 5 years, but we're able to amortize it over a 7-year period.
The first year is interest only.
First 12 months, interest only, BNI on the 13th month, over to 5 or 7 years, depending on the cash flow needs of the individual.
Happy for you to describe the loan as a revolving loan fund. Can you explain a bit about how the money for the loan would replenish itself?
So the difference between a loan fund and a grant fund depletes itself. It's over. At least with a loan fund, people are repaying the funds, and those funds are recirculating and going back out to other businesses, and that was truly the purpose of having a fund that lived into perpetuity. We need to have a go-to fund for small businesses. In addition to the issues that they have, it's credit. Because prior to the crisis of COVID, many of them had decent credit, but after the COVID hit, they had credit issues. So we're going to help them with that. So they're going to come to us, yes, you have credit issues, but we're going to help you out. We're going to get you back on streamline. Anything else?
So there's no forgiveness?
For New Haven-based businesses, the first 16.67% is forgivable if you're in good standing. And then it's termed out in the 13th month out to 5 years. The scope is determined because, yes, it's who we serve, and it's in addition, it's within the boundaries that the Community Foundation serves as well. Yes, you can apply for this loan. If you're New Haven-based, women-owned, minority-owned, less than 20 employees, I encourage you to apply. Because we're going to look at it on a one-on-one basis. We also have an advisory team that will review all the loans to ensure that we're covering the entire area.
Allie from Connecticut Public. Can you speak to the timing of this with racial unrest in our city, our state, and country? The timing of minority-owned supporting. How was this maybe inspired by some of those movements?
It wasn't inspired by what's going on now because it's something that I've wanted. I've been with the city for 3 years now, and it's something that I've wanted. And Drew called me one day and said, let's do it. And it was his let's do it attitude. Let's put it together. Let's work together and make it happen. That made it happen. The impetus for this was that we have so many small businesses here in New Haven where $10,000 will make a huge difference to their success and sustainability. And that's what we're here to serve.
It would be foolish to think that this is the first awareness that we've had either privately or certainly with the State Department of Economic and Community Development about the trials and tribulations of entrepreneurship, particularly with women and minority-owned businesses. Some of our most valuable community small businesses are founded by immigrants who have had true grit, and this thing has just hit harder than any. But the state has been working on this for a very long time, and certainly being championed by Governor Lamont and Lieutenant Governor Bysiewicz, who's worked every single day on ensuring that minority and small businesses get their due.
So the breakdown is the Community Foundation is contributing $500,000, HEDCO $500,000, the Amore Probe Fund $250,000, and the City of New Haven $250,000.
And more contributions are welcome if anybody wants to step in, because I just tell you that the demand is limitless. This is anecdotal, Paz, but the bigger the loan amount, the less demand there was. And you see what's left over in the PPP, which is supposed to be for smaller businesses, but you know a lot of bigger businesses. Our bridge loans, which we made as a bridge for smaller businesses, sold out within days. And I think you're going to find programs like this provide just a lifeline to companies that otherwise don't get access to the PPP. Don't do this. And coming out of small business, I can tell you that they work together as a family. And they're not laying people off. They're doing everything they can to survive and live another day. And that's why this partnership is so important. Thank you, everybody.